Join us in honoring the Most Reverend Robert J. Cunningham as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of his ordination to the priesthood and his 10th anniversary as Bishop of Syracuse. When we asked Bishop Cunningham if it felt like it had been 50 years since he was ordained a priest, he told us,
"No, it really doesn't. Maybe some days have gone slowly, but the years have gone quickly. And it's hard for me to believe that it's 50 years.
Bob Cunningham started to consider priesthood at a young age.
Very truthfully, I thought about it in grammar school. I thought that maybe this is what God wanted me to do. I was ordained a priest on May 24th, 1969. There were 24 in my class. It was a big day, big class.
Father Robert Cunningham's first Mass was celebrated in his home parish, St. John the Baptist in Kenmore, where his family had been parishioners for about 50 years.
The parish was very much a second home for me, a second family. And I had my first Mass there on the Sunday morning after ordination and a reception there in the parish hall. It was a tight-knit parish and it was a great cause of celebration. All I ever wanted to be was a parish priest. I was in parishes for 5 years at the beginning, and then I was asked to go to the Chancery office in Buffalo as secretary to the bishop. And then after a couple of years, I was asked to go to Catholic University to study canon law. I went back to the Chancery in Buffalo and worked there for altogether 30 years.
When Monsignor Cunningham was named Bishop of Ogdensburg in 2004, the North Country Catholic published a series of articles based on interviews with people he knew during his many years in Buffalo.
I remember one particularly that was written by a very revered and elderly priest who had known Bishop Cunningham since he was in elementary school. And he wrote in the article, "Monsignor Cunningham is a humble and holy priest."
I loved the warmth of the people, the hominess of the people who would, on Sunday, after Sunday Mass, they come on over for breakfast.
He was known for avid support of our Catholic schools. He was known for his pastoral visits to the parishes.
I went there at the age of 60 and fully expected to be there for the rest of my life. And I was surprised 5 years later when I got a call to tell me that the Holy Father wanted me to be happy in Syracuse.
Bishop Robert Cunningham was installed as bishop in the Diocese of Syracuse on May 26, 2009.
I came down here just wanting to serve the best way I could, to come to know the diocese and its people, and to try and bring people closer to God on the journey of life and faith.
The bishop wrote 2 pastoral letters during his time in the Diocese of Syracuse. The first was published during the Year of Faith.
The Year of Faith was an effort around the time of our 125th anniversary to rededicate ourselves to the faith and to try and draw people closer into it.
The bishop's evangelization message was simple. Our Catholic faith. Know it, live it, share it.
The Year of the Family was meant to kind of foster family life, as families go, so goes the church, so goes the country. And so I think we need to do a lot to strengthen our families, prepare them for the world, prepare our young people for the world. Highlight for me during the 125th anniversary was the establishment of the Immaculata Medallion, which we've given to parish volunteers every year since then. And I think it's a very nice tribute to them.
As in the Diocese of Ogdensburg, the bishop's commitment to Catholic schools has been unwavering.
I believe that our Catholic schools are the best way we have of handing on the faith. And I want our schools to be strong, and I want them to stay.
The bishop's motto is, "The Church, Our Mother."
The image of the church as a mother, it's a church that reaches out, that embraces. It's a church that is tender. It is a church that gives life and nurtures life. And I think in many ways that's who Bishop Cunningham is.
Bishop Cunningham is tending to our Mother Church, the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception. He spearheaded a capital campaign to restore the cathedral. Interior renovations are complete, and restorations continue on the exterior.
We want the cathedral to be a home for all in the diocese.
There are currently 10 seminarians in the diocese.
Bishop Cunningham is a father to the seminarians. He takes that role so seriously and truly acts like their father.
I think that our seminarians we have are fine young men. They're willing, despite all the difficulties in the church, to give themselves over to the church and to recognize the beauty of the church and the good things that the church does. And they recognize the call that they believe they received from the Lord to consider it.
Bishop Cunningham has ordained 12 priests who are serving in the Diocese of Syracuse.
Probably the most joyful experience as a bishop is to ordain a priest. Men who, in a sense, I see as my legacy to the diocese. They will go on long after I do, serving the needs of the people here. There's no greater gift that I can give to the people of the Diocese of Syracuse than a holy priest. I think it's a wonderful life of a priest, and parish priests are my real heroes. The goal of the priest is to serve his people as best he can, and I think our priests do that very well.
Bishop Cunningham made the very difficult decision to release the names of the 57 priests against whom there were credible sexual assault allegations in December 2018.
This is a dark time in the history of the church. It's a very painful time. Our first concern, obviously, is always victims, those who have been victimized by priests or other church people through the years.
And so you begin there. You begin with, people were hurt. What do you do now? The answer is you reach out to those who are hurt, and the second is you make it better. You fix it. You make sure it doesn't happen again.
And yet we have to go forward. And we have to also realize the many good things that the church does and the many good things that priests do. And it's a sad fact that all priests are being judged by, or feel they're being judged at least, by the bad actions of a few.
There are so many who have joined us in our efforts to make our environment safe, have joined in the reconciliation and the healing, and are ready to walk and move forward to make us a stronger church.
You know, in the end, God's going to be the judge of what we've done and how we've done it. And I hope He's merciful to me and to everyone.
During this time, the diocese was continuing the process of reconfiguring parishes.
Unfortunately, where we are today, we have to bring churches together for a number of reasons. You know, we have a declining population, we have a declining clergy population. And reconfiguration doesn't have to be bad because you're really strengthening faith communities and making them stronger and more vibrant.
I remember being down in the Binghamton area one night at a meeting, and a man said to me afterwards, he said he'd been involved in a reconfiguration a few years ago. He said, "Bishop," he said, "I have to tell you, we lost our church, but we gained a parish." It's never easy, but unfortunately it's necessary.
The bishop publicly supported refugees when strong restrictions were being placed on people who were attempting to resettle here. He reminded us how important it is to welcome the stranger, and the community responded.
Immigrant parents want the same thing that we all want for our children. They want a better life. The church is a home in whatever country they're in and at whatever time, and so we have to make sure we treat them as members of the family.
Family is very important to Bishop Cunningham.
My sister had 8 children. My brother had 5. 2 of them have gone home to God. So I have 11 living nieces and nephews, all married, all with families of their own.
I remember early on in his time in the diocese, I went to the mailroom, and sitting, not in a mailbox, but on the counter, was a Disneyland postcard that just said, "To Uncle Bob, having a great time." I asked the employee what was going on. "I don't know, someone sent it to the wrong address." I said, "Oh really, there's no one named Uncle Bob here, huh? No? How about Bishop Robert J. Cunningham?" Oh my gosh. So just the sense that he's an Uncle Bob to a family, and a family that loves him dearly.
You know, family for the priest should be very important. He doesn't have family in the same way other people do. He has a lot of people, but he needs family. He needs to know that there's someone out there. I mean, I know a lot of people care about you, but you just need a place to call home.
We asked Bishop Cunningham how he'd like to be remembered for his 10 years in the Diocese of Syracuse.
Oh, I hope they'll just think of me as a person who tried. And I tried to bring people closer to the Lord. I just hope they'll think that I cared and I tried. When Pope Benedict sent me to Syracuse, he could have sent perhaps a better preacher or teacher or administrator, but he couldn't have sent anybody that tried to love the people of Syracuse more. And I hope they'll realize that.
We think they do, Bishop Cunningham. We think they do.
I guess what I admire most is his generosity. Just go where the Lord needs him to be.
I would describe the bishop as a humble man, a holy man, genuine, unpretentious, authentic, with a great sense of humor.
Fatherly, devoted, faithful, loving, an introvert and an extrovert, and a friend.
Congratulations, Bishop Cunningham, and may God bless you.